Hi, I'm Jeff Kornberg, and on this episode of The Dragon's Tomb, I'm going to be teaching you how to play Wingspan. In Wingspan, players take on the role of birds who are sick of having to fly around places and instead decide to try and get human legs. This scissor-tailed flycatcher was the first bird who learned how to get human legs and has taught all the other birds how to do it. To set up, place the game board in the center of the table. There are 170 unique bird cards in the game. Evenly divide them between all players. Put the bird feeder and all these different pieces of junk on the side of the board. These cards are the various people the birds will attack in order to steal their legs. Place this deck on the side of the board and then deal out people equal to the number of players plus 1 onto this first row. Next, have each player choose a color of cubes, and finally, set a timer onto the table where everyone can see it. Now you're ready to start playing. The object of the game is to be the first player to get legs for all of the birds in your hand. The game takes place over an unlimited number of rounds, which are each 10 seconds long. Player turns happen simultaneously, and you have your choice between one of 3 actions: attacking a person and stealing their legs, stuffing stolen legs with junk, or transmogrifying. If you choose to attack someone and steal their legs, take a look at the humans on the board and note that each one says which type of birds they can be attacked by. For example, this human is vulnerable to birds with colors in their names, while this wimpy one would get destroyed by birds with wingspans of 30 centimeters or less. When the timer starts, you'll have 10 seconds to search through your hand of bird cards and secretly decide which ones you want to use for your attack. Once the timer is done, each player who did this action must simultaneously take all of their chosen birds and place them on one human. If you pick a human nobody else has chosen, and at least one of your birds matches their vulnerability, you successfully rip them apart and steal their legs. If multiple players choose the same human, whoever has more birds that match the vulnerability will get to steal the legs, and in the case of a tie, the taller player wins. If you successfully attack, take your human and move it down to the middle row, placing one of your cubes on it. Then, take the number of dice shown in the space it was originally on. Take any birds you used for your attack and line them in a row in front of you. Then, refill the top row with more humans. The second action you may do is stuffing stolen legs with junk. Since these legs were ripped off of a human by bird beaks, they're loose, punctured, and in pretty bad shape. Before transferring them onto a bird, you're going to want to fill them with junk to plump them back up again. Each bird used in your attack must now collect the garbage listed in their top left corner in order to help patch up the legs. When the round starts, you'll have 10 seconds to roll any dice you've acquired as many times as you can, collecting matching junk with each roll. When the time is up, you may place each piece of garbage onto a bird that requires it. Once you've satisfied the requirements of each bird, which may take multiple rounds, place all your junk on the legs to successfully stuff them. Move the legs down to the bottom row and take the number of eggs shown in the spot it was previously in. Some spots show this beach ball to egg iconography. If another player happens to be moving an attacked human into this space as you're moving your legs out, they may choose to throw a beach ball at you. This cracks one of your eggs, forcing you to discard it. The third action you may do is transmogrifying, which allows you to combine one of your birds with one of your pairs of stuffed legs. This is the transmogrifier. When the round starts, you'll open it up and put one of your birds on the left side. In the middle, you'll place the stuffed legs, then on the right, you'll put one egg. You'll put the lid back on and then have 10 seconds to shake everything up. As it does in baking, the egg will act as a binding agent, helping to stick the legs to your bird. When time is up, if you open the transmogrifier and find all of the parts have landed together in one compartment, you've successfully given legs to your bird. Take out the bird and use your cubes to showcase its brand new fancy human legs. However, if you open the transmogrifier and find the parts aren't all together, unfortunately, the binding was not successful. Discard the used egg. You may try again next round as long as you have another egg. In addition to the 3 main actions, there are 4 optional actions you may choose to do in between rounds, all of which are listed here on the side of the board. 1. You may play a bird. If you do a little play with one of your birds, maybe something like Shakespeare for example, then you get 2 beach balls to break your opponent's eggs. Or just 1 if you prefer. 2. You may gain food from the bird feeder. If anybody has brought snacks to your game night, you're allowed to take some, as long as they were first placed into the bird feeder. Then, enjoy. 3. You may lay eggs on birds. If you have enough eggs, you can use them to bind 2 of your birds together into 1 double bird. If you transmogrify the double bird, it will count as 2 birds at the end of the game, even though they only share 1 pair of legs. And finally, 4. You may draw bird cards. If you don't like any of the birds in your hand, you can get a piece of paper and draw a card of your own. The first player to get legs on all their birds becomes the dominant group and wins the game. All in all, this game is a blast to play. I love how the birds you're dealt are completely random, which means there's a good chance you may never organically find the cards you need to succeed. It's so much fun to be able to miss out on your goals regardless of your strategy. Also, if you're looking to enhance the gameplay, there are 2 great expansions. The European expansion adds in British birds, who try to steal dry humor from the humans, and the Oceania expansion adds in Australian birds, who steal beer and get into fights.